Um, okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Dalarjin. I actually coming out here to analyze the new Tumani Peace Initiative that is proposed in Kenya, and I'm going to talk a lot about it for a couple maybe minutes. Please, if you get it, try to share it to our people. I'm coming to analyze the new Tumani initiative, peace initiative in Kenya, and I will be talking about mostly the benefit that maybe we can see from it, and probably maybe the problem that may happen about inside the discussion. First of all, please share it with our people so that people can get it. Actually, the new Tumani is kind of like, might be different from the Tumani of 2024. So the Tumani Peace Initiative is actually a peace process that is was designed for ending the conflict in South Sudan. It was a mediation proposed by Salva Kiir and was mediated by the government of Kenya. And then it was actually designed mainly to include the non-signatories. So that means some of the parties that were excluded from 2018 peace agreement, those parties, they were accommodated in the Tumani peace talk in Nairobi, Kenya. And unfortunately, actually, the talk failed. And most people maybe, they don't know why this one actually failed. Well, I have an argument for this, why I think the peace actually failed. The reason Tumani, the whole Tumani failed was actually because there are two reasons why actually it failed. One is that the non-signatories, those non-signatory parties, did not have a case to represent actually. And what does it mean that you don't have a case to represent in the peace talk? What it means is that you are in the peace talk, peace process. Then you wanted to discuss a problem. You want to solve a problem. And then for those the Soma, the Soma now become UPA. So what they did is that they present a lot of ideas that were presented appear in the 2018 peace agreement. So this one bring a lot of problem. So the government see it, the IO, they see the peace, and then the Kenya government also see that. They see like it is a photocopy. And then therefore, the IO position was, if that's the case, if this new group do not have case, they don't have idea, they don't have a new idea, then therefore, they can join the revitalized peace agreement in Juba. So that was the issue there. That was the position of IO. Now the government say, okay, if you guys, you actually rely on what was discussed in 2015, in 2018, then therefore there is no need for you to open a new agreement. Then therefore you can join the revitalized peace agreement. So everybody, they say this group didn't have a case, and that is why the Tumani was not working. Okay, so that's why I wanted people to understand that way. Now, the revitalized peace agreement failed, and now the government of Kenya is inviting groups, South Sudan group. Okay, they want the people of South Sudan to actually to resume peace. And I'm going to talk about why is it important now, because I know a lot of people maybe they don't have a deep understanding of what is going on about this proposal, and why they can be problem or why they can be actually good for our people. Okay, so this new Tumani is very important actually. the new Tumani. Is scheduled on, I think it is scheduled to take place today is, we are talking about today, maybe 2nd. So in about 7 days, in about a week. So this Tumani will actually kick in Nairobi, Kenya. And they are inviting opposition, mainly the IO opposition, IO party, the government of South Sudan, the UPA, the SOMA, and other political party. Another thing that they are saying is that it is extended to all the stakeholders, that means the actors in South Sudan. So this one is a little bit different. And I'm going to talk about why it's important now. Okay. Number one, why I think this one is important is because right now we have war. War has happened maybe for the last 2 weeks. People are fighting in South Sudan, mostly across the country. Heavy war. And with the war, there are a lot of things that are not available for the people, ordinary people, especially the vulnerable. People are suffering. So you have people cannot move outside. You cannot, there is no way you can access water, you can access food, you can access basic thing. Because of the war, we are outside and then you're going to die. So now, this peace is number one, is asking for what they call cessation of hostility. The cessation of hostility. Cessation of hostility means that warring party must actually stop fighting. So you must stop fighting. That does not mean that the war is ended, but it means that people who are hostage, somebody maybe is inside their home, they don't go outside. And if they are inside the home because the gun are actually fighting, the gun sound is heard from outside, and they lock themselves inside, then therefore, and they don't have food, they can die, not from gunshot, but actually from the starvation. So that is why there is something called cessation of hostility. It does not mean that you're going to peace or to negotiate to stop war. It means that people who are hostage because of war, innocent people, can actually breathe. They can come out. They can see if they wanted to run, they can run. If they want to have a transportation, they can go. That's what the cessation of hostility mean. And that's what this new Tumani is calling for. So those who are invited, they should look at this as something that is very important, even for your parties or the parties that you support. So this is very important because it's a basic, it provides the access to basic need, transportation access to maybe assess if there are agencies that wanted to reach out with water, food, things like that, then people can be reached out. So that is what this piece is talking about. It's talking about the cessation of hostility, number one. Number two, they are talking about to address the humanitarian crisis. So humanitarian crisis mean to reach a large number of people are, actually you can see a lot of children, women, they are, whether they are in rebel side or maybe government side, people are displaced. There are people who are wounded, nobody take care about. It's actually chaos, vulnerable people. So these are the things that to address the humanitarian crisis, how you can give them water, how you can give them maybe food, how you can lead them, how they can relieve from the crisis. This is what we call humanitarian crisis. And they wanted to have agencies to have access. That is the number one thing. It's not about stopping you from fighting. That is what a lot of people, they are getting it wrong, that this is what it means that this kind of agreement is going to support maybe one party and making one party to stop the war and one party to win the war. No, this is not what it is. Addressing the humanitarian crisis, okay? So that at least the innocent people who are not part of the war can actually have access to basic need. That is what this piece is about, is to address that thing. Another issue that is very important is to include, is going to be inclusive. It's going to include group. Even if you don't have a party, And for example, maybe you are a pastor, you have a church in South Sudan, maybe you are a Muslim, you have a masjid, maybe you are a women group, maybe you are a youth group. All these groups, they are going to be involved in this because the people are affected, a lot of people. So that one is going to be more inclusive than the peace that you have been seeing that was been signing in Addis Ababa, in Nairobi, in other elsewhere. This one look more actually a broad base because problem of South Sudan now is becoming very big, and the international community, they don't know about this actually. Nobody even care about what is going on. They don't know. So now this one is going to create a way in which people are going to be included and people will talk about it. So the more people talk about it, is the more people will know what is going on in South Sudan, what is going on about the war. And with this, it will create something called international attention. That's why you may get maybe CNN, read there, Al Jazeera, big world international TV, maybe you will get them there. This is called international attention. Now, the mass killing there going on there, nobody know. People don't, they are not aware about it. It's only you who just know it because everything is closed down. No internet, no nothing. But people are suffering. So that is very important for all the party to see this as something very important for the people of South Sudan. Particularly those who don't have arm, those who don't hold arm. They are going to be victims. Not necessarily from the gunshot, but actually from the crisis. They die because of no water. They die because there is no transportation. They die because there is no care for wound. They die because there is no necessary food. So that's what people are talking about. So is a discussion. I think it is important for all the party to really accept this, so that at least some of our people can be relieved. And then if you want to resume the fighting, you can maybe give it a week, at least for people to leave, or a couple of days. People who want to run away from the war, they can have access to run away. Then you can resume your war. So we are not actually necessarily stopping the war. It's something to address humanitarian crisis, maybe cessation of hostility. That is what we are talking about. Okay. Now, the problem, some people maybe they have a lot of skeptical about this because there are a lot of peace talk has been violated, peace talk that don't work, and people they think that this one, some people call it a fake peace. Well, you know, it's because the thing that sometimes I argue, a lot of people that were called to negotiate the peace agreement in the previous peace agreement, some people, they were nominated because they are member of the party, and you know South Sudan, most of the party are very corrupt. So you'll find somebody is sent there, don't know even how to solve a conflict. So how you going to be sent to resolve a conflict, and you don't know how to solve a conflict? Then therefore, the outcome of that agreement will not be good, because if you go to Trimani to resolve a conflict, it means that you have to know at least some resolution. You have to have some skill about how conflict is resolved, and in that way, actually the outcome will look better. But the way people are sent there is like you sending your son, your cousin, your maybe your colleague, your friend, or maybe your party member. That one, it doesn't work that way. That's not how you resolve the problem. You have to send expert to resolve the conflict. And then another problem, that was the problem in the whole piece, okay, is because people were sent there, they don't know about how conflict is solved. Some of them may be military members, some they were sent from relative of president, or maybe a rebel leader, thing like that. So that's why it failed, okay, in my opinion. Secondly, leaders that actually lack some specific conflict resolution, is particularly the skill. You cannot resolve a conflict like this. It's going to be very difficult for you. Okay, so that is another problem. Another problem was the division. So some people that came with their proposal had a problem. Now with this one, people might think that it's going not to work. Yes, if we talk about resolving it, there will be issues. But if these issues are discussed, there can be really a resolution. For example, maybe IO, the SPLM-IO. SPLM-IO in this peace resolution might say, of course, they will say, okay, now our position is to release Riek Machar. Okay? So if they say, okay, their position is to release Riek Machar, how Soma, people like Pagana Mom, like those of Thomas Cirillo, and those of maybe, who is this one here, the Paul Malonga one, may say, oh, no, our position is not to release Riek Machar. Maybe our position is to, let's say, is to resolve, maybe remove both Riek Machar and Salva Kiir. That can be, so that can be another group, okay? And then maybe the government will come in and see, okay, if opposition are having conflict. So government can sponsor that or maybe increase it and say, because government want the opposition to be divided, okay? So government will say, okay, if IO want to release Riek Machar and the other group do not want to release Riek Machar, they need war. So now the government will come in and divide them more. That is how you find a division. And when things get tough, then you can see maybe some people will withdraw. Sometimes maybe lack of financial incentive. Some people, like in the last peace agreement, actually, some people do not even have incentive. Some people have incentive. So people are accusing you and people withdraw. You actually walk out from the peace agreement. So those are the problems that you can see. But all these problems, if people go to peace and people who have knowledge about conflict resolution, about how they experience the issues in South Sudan and non-partisan. So what will happen is that they can resolve the conflict actually, because they will present the need of the people, what the people actually want, and according to the ground. So that is what I'm coming to analyze today. There are problems, yes, but the main thing is that what we are concerned today is that we want this peace actually because of the humanitarian crisis. A lot of our people are being displaced. In Jonglei State right now is estimated over maybe 200,000 has already been displaced. Okay? And these people who are displaced, these are people who don't have nothing about war. These are villages. Okay? So it's really very terrible. It's good that this cessation of hostility happen maybe for a week or maybe a couple of days, and then people can find the basic thing. So that is my position, and I encourage all the parties to really look into this, so that you don't just you sign it, you go and relieve it, maybe stop war for a couple of days, and then let our people maybe run wherever they want to run. If they wanted to get more food and maybe for a couple of days of war, that is how you fight a war. You cannot lock people in for 2-week war, 3-week war, and people, they don't walk. This is going to be very difficult for our people. So that is how I was coming about this Tumani Peace Initiative. I encourage all the parties that have actually was invited to actually immediately look into this on the 9th, to sign it and let our people actually breathe. Thank you very much. Please share it.